Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Muhammad Danial bin Junaidi Sulum. Today, we would like to present about Ar-Rahnu. Before I want to continue, did you hear about Ar-Rahnu? Did you know about a different Ar-Rahnu and pawn shop conventional? Ar-Rahnu is Sharia compliant Islamic mortgage product. Ar-Rahnu come from the Arabic word pound. It's equal to Rahnu. The goal of Ar-Rahnu is the same as a personal financing, which is to get a cash but pledging a goal. At least the borrower is not so burdened if unable to repay the financing, because it has been pledged with gold. Currently, banks and cooperatives also offer this Ar-Rahnu scheme. Fortunately, borrowers are not charged a profit rate but are only charged a saving rate, even with the minimal charge. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 283, also explains about a mortgage when in debt. This concept of Ar-Rahnu can be said to be a win-win situation between the financier and the borrower, as the financier holds the gold belonging to the borrower while the borrower gets the cash. Every Muslim must cultivate the ambition to become a rich man. The desire for such a thing must be accompanied by the determination in raising the economic standard of daily life to a better level. Indeed, it has been proven that an individual who has a well embroidered with piety to Allah SWT will produce a Muslim who is great enough by the sight of Allah SWT. In addition, in the mortgage, there is another conventional system that people always use, which are knowing there is lag in it. Ar-Rahnu has nothing to do with the riba, because it is different from the conventional mortgage system, which is based on loans and charge interest on the loan given, while Ar-Rahnu involve a qard al-hasan, Ar-Rahnu, and al-wadi'ah ad-damana. Excess payment paid in Ar-Rahnu are called ujrah, or management wages, as well as saving wages to those who offer Ar-Rahnu service. A common pawnshop practice, a debtor pledge. Pawnshop companies impose a condition on debtor to settle their debt within a certain period, such as 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months, and a certain interest charge are charged on a monthly basis for the debt given. Among the example that can be given is that Ali owned 10,000 ringgit to ABC pawn shop company, and a pledged jewelry such as bracelets and rings. Ali has agreed with ABC pawn shop to settle the debt within 6 months, and ABC pawn shop charged an interest charge 1.5% per month until the debt is settled, and the company charge a 1.5% charge if Ali is late in paying his debt. So this is what riba on loan and is said to be. To know more our topic about in our presentation, I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nabila binti Jumri. I am going to talk about an issue related to the conventional pawn shop. Pawn shop can be made by all people, but mostly it is made by people that really need money for some reason at that time. Not only a person, but many small merchants, traders, and farmers borrow money for some reason, such as because of poor, to support their family, or to start new job, and many others go for conventional pawnbroking. In Malaysia, leasing has become an institution. It is a popular microcredit system in our society. Conventional pawn shops have been in business for decades. Is oppression of the poor borrowers. Because of what? Because the interest rate is high. And Muslims also know about the conventional practice of pawn broking activities is an illegal usury. So the issue here, it is remains a top choice of those who want to get a small loan quickly. On 2014, there are 307 registered pawn shops nationwide, and it's supposed to be the number is increasing nowadays. The conventional pawn shop is not much hassle, which is the borrower just park security for the amount to be borrowed only. In Malaysia, the conventional pawn shops were more motivated on making profits from the needy individuals. The process to get the loan is very fast, and the requirement to pitch the jewelry is simple. In conventional pawn shops, as we know, it have high interest charge, and there are several instances of bias and unfair to the borrower. High interest from 2% per month or 24% per year, well above the market rate. So the pawn gold such as rings, bracelets or necklace usually are not weighted or measured properly. There are many cases in which the pawn jewelry lighter or a little short when redeemed, and the pawn dealer is a little scrap gold of the goods due to the weight and length of the pawn gold are not recorded clearly and properly in the receipt. So the borrower has a difficulty in caught the shopkeepers in malpractice activities. Most of the time, if the borrower fails to redeem within the prescribed time or a predetermined period, the pawn dealer has the right to auction the pawn jewelry below 100 ringgit, and for items valued at more than 100 ringgit, pawn dealer must elect the licensed auctioneer to act on behalf of them. They need to follow certain rules and regulations as being stated in the acts. But unfortunately, in many cases, the pawn dealers collaborate with a licensed auctioneer. They inform the future buyer about the auction pawn item at the lowest price, then make the pawner earn nothing after the auction takes place. Many pawn dealers also do not return the extra money after the auction surplus and net debt. This is a prescription against the borrower. This can be avoided if the conventional pawnbroker use the proper documentation and genuine to the borrower, and the borrower also must know their right before engage in those transactions. In the event of theft, fire or disaster to the pawn shop which cause missing or damaged items, pawn dealers only pay for the amount of collateral that added around 25% to the lender as compensation. This is certainly unfair and unjustly to the borrowers, but this is not provided in the existing act. A few years ago, there is cases where a pawn shop was raided and jewelry worth 50,000 ringgit were seized by the local authorities due to illegal pawn shop operation. So the syndicate was believed to have bought at a higher rate than the market, but also imposed a higher interest rate that is about 5% instead of 2% per month. So the borrowers will receive a receipt that stated his name in that on the transaction without other important information such as IC number and phone number. The redemption period is only 3 months. Fail to redeem, the items will be auctioned without the owner's knowledge. So as we know, the activity is definitely illegal. But unfortunately, the local authorities cannot take action since there are not many information about this type of pawn shop owners. In conventional pawn shops, the pawn shops do not accept payment in installments. So the borrower must pay the full amount, let's say 1,000 ringgit plus interest within a specified period. And then failure to pay means a loss of collateral. So how do pawn shop make a profit? Actually, pawn shops profit comes from high interest rates and also extra fees charged on transaction with borrowers. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faiz bin Isa, and today I will explain about the issue of Ar-Rahnu. Firstly, I will be discuss about the lack of Ar-Rahnu services in rural area. So in Malaysia, Ar-Rahnu has expanded widely and increasingly getting many attention. However, there are few areas which does not have Ar-Rahnu institution. So according to the researcher, the charger tends to choose the nearest pawn shop which to do mortgage transaction. And this problem has led the charger to go to the conventional pawn shop instead of Ar-Rahnu institution. And in order to prevent that from happen continuously, those Ar-Rahnu institution need to be encouraged to open more Ar-Rahnu pawn shop in many places, especially in East Malaysia and rural areas. So in addition, there are a few places where the Ar-Rahnu institution does not exist too. So according to the research, the charger which those who hold collateral prefer to do mortgage transaction through their local pawn shop. So the charger has decided to go to a typical pawn shop rather than the Ar-Rahnu institution, which is because of this problem above. So in addition, many low-income people reside in rural area, and most of them are familiar with the pawning system. So it is a common way to earn funds. So the second one, which is the different terms and services between the Ar-Rahnu institution. So the Ar-Rahnu service system works by offering Sharia compliant monetary loan that are swift, fair, and transparent. However, the application of the Ar-Rahnu, which is hampered when Islamic pawn shop organization regulation and provision are in conflict. Based on Aslin and Noshaira, it identified the establishment of bank that provide an Ar-Rahnu system. There are some institutions that only pawn items such as gold and jewelry, which to be pawned instead of other valuable goods. And this gold-only mortgage causes complication for people who are in severe need of money but do not have it. And as a result, the organization revenue is limited by only gold. And aside from that, there are more serious difficulty with the provider service quality and client advertising. And this is not a minor thing because it enter client satisfaction in a circumstances where only the customer can pay to keep an institution operating. And also the quality of service is inadequate and low, which is the product benefit are limited and religious obligation are few, all of which contribute to Islamic banking product low adoption. And due to a lack of marketing plan that emphasize appealing promotion, Islamic pawn shop which earn less. And so for last but not least, I will be explain about low awareness to Islamic economy. So in this jurisdiction, Islamic banking has gained system significant and mainstream relevant. And the top 10 important Islamic finance jurisdictions are improving their knowledge and acceptance at the sovereign level, which is example Sukuk and Islamic Bank account for roughly 70% of those sovereign entire finance mix by the end of 2020. And in 2019, around 60% of Malaysia SME were unaware of the existence of Islamic finance solution. It is based on the Bank Negara Malaysia, and according to the Emirate Islamic 2020 Islamic Banking Index, 27% of the UAE population was unaware that Islamic banking products were available. And in many countries, particularly those with the insufficient information, so the many stockholders, including client, regulator, and employee of Islamic financial institution, they believe the Islamic product to be essentially comparable to conventional interest-based product. This perception is aided by the way Islamic products are present and priced. So despite the massive cost serving, it is offered by the Ar-Rahnu system, it has struggled to gain widespread popularity due to the competition. It is from both regular pawnbroking and illegal money lending. So low-income people, trader and criminal can get immediate cash advance from this money lender in our country. So their loan come with excessive interest rate, some as high as 20% per month, which as well as other fee and charges, like the agreement fee and stamp duty. And despite their severe requirement, the loan shark continue to be popular since the borrower is not needed to put up collateral or present any of evidence they're signing at IOU certificate. Okay, thank you for your attention. Now my friend Fitri Hazirah will continue discussion.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Fitri Hazirah binti Hadis, and now I will explain about Ar-Rahnu, which is the solution from the factor and issue of is conventional pawnbroking. Ar-Rahnu, commonly transcribed as an Islamic pawnbroker for a short-term debt securities borrowing. It is the contract of make something as a guarantee to complete off the debt settlement. Rahnu is come from an Arabic word which is rahana, that means holding and binding. The legality of Rahnu is based on the proof from Quran, Sunnah and Ijma'. Then, it is permissible for a person pawn their precious thing based on the Sharia ruling. As have been stated in the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 283, Allah said that, "If you are on a journey and you do not find a scribe, then let there be a pledge taken from the debtor. This is sufficient." Islam is the way of life. Therefore, the establishment of Ar-Rahnu in Malaysia provides debtors with an alternative pawnbroking service that adheres to Sharia norms. This is to help people who are needed by pawn their precious thing as Ar-Rahnu rather than at the conventional pawnbroking, as Ar-Rahnu also a new microfinance product in Malaysia. Whereas traditional pawnbroking has been around for years with laws controlling its operation, such as the Pawnbroking Act 1972, which was amended in 2004, Islamic pawnbroking only became popular in 1990s. In Malaysia, the Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) partnered with Yapim and Bank Kerjasama Rakyat (Bank Rakyat) in 1933 to provide Islamic pawnbroking service through 6 branches. In each transaction, Ar-Rahnu service apply the notion of wadayat amanah, assured deposit for safekeeping, qard hasan, beneficial loan, and ujrah fees. Therefore, the implicitly remove the aspect of riba, interest, and gharar uncertainty which have been applied in conventional pawnbroking. Failure to comply with the Sharia principle will result in failure to achieve the objective of Ar-Rahnu, notably that of being Sharia compliant. When comparing to the financing given by official institution, Ar-Rahnu is one of the types of informal credit that may respond to the specific financial requirement by giving fast cash. Qard al-Hasan is an interest loan given to an individual who desires to pawn precious things such as gold. Under this approach, the borrower is expected to pay the same rate that he received to redeem the valued things at the maturity period of the agreed term. On the other hand, wadiyat amanah needs the borrower to provide returnable security in order for the loan to be repaid. If something occurs to the collateral, the lender is under no obligation to replace the lost valued thing. Meanwhile, al-ujrah is a concept in which lenders can cost the borrower safekeeping payment to guarantee the collateral goods are in excellent shape. There are a few advantages in using Islamic pawn Ar-Rahnu, such as it is easier to apply, has a faster acceptance rate, and is less expensive than traditional pawnbroking. Furthermore, storage prices are set, and consumers may take advantage of extended financing period with no penalties. Eventually, if the collateral goods are not redeemed, they will be sold to other parties with the proceeds refunded to the borrower. However, there are differences of Ar-Rahnu implementation in the banking institution and non-banking institution. It is one of the factors why people hesitate to use Ar-Rahnu. Therefore, all of Ar-Rahnu institution should apply the same method in terms of how much marhun the pawnting is calculated, and for a few Ar-Rahnu institutions, they only accept gold only. The other precious things such as land grant, jewelry, car grant is not accepted. Therefore, Ar-Rahnu should synchronize their system so that every person alerts and know on how to use Ar-Rahnu when they need it. This coincides with the emphasis in the main objective of Islamic banking, which is profit motivated in addition to holding fast to religious factor or Islamic value such as justice in transacting. The concept and implementation are intended to meet the needs of Muslims for banking and finance according to the rules of Islam comprehensively. Next, to ensure that the community of people using Ar-Rahnu in order to avoid being lied in terms of interest and gharar using the conventional pawnbroking, hence, the banking institution or non-banking institution should open more branch and offer other initiatives such as through online for the people reach them easier. Nowadays, we can see that the Ar-Rahnu branch is more focused at the city, while the rural area is still lack of Ar-Rahnu services. By constructing new branches in rural region, more individuals in rural area will be able to take advantage from the plan, and more significantly, it will offer them an alternative way of receiving financial aid as opposed to relying on illegal lending scheme or loan shark.
In our conclusion, this study was conducted to raise the issues where previously many did not know the advantage of Ar-Rahnu. Malaysians here do not know that the disadvantage of taking a conventional mortgage, such as a usury, depreciating mortgage value, and a low service charge. From the above discussion, we can conclude the conventional pawn shop has many disadvantages compared to using Ar-Rahnu. The lack of people using Ar-Rahnu before is due to many being unaware of the advantage of Ar-Rahnu, as well as known as the implementation of Islamic pawn shop or Ar-Rahnu is able to provide various forms of facilities from the aspect of microcredit financing in an effort to help the community to overcome financial problems faced through the concept allowed by Sharia. Based on this study, we can approve that the factor of saving wages charge and easy loan process are two factors that can influence the perception of society while accepting the service offered by Islamic mortgage despite having to compete with conventional service. This is a challenge to Islamic pawn shop in terms of ensuring this community continues to use Islamic pawn shop service while maintaining low storage fee charged as well as a simple loan process compared to other institutions. Ar-Rahnu is a long established contract and plays a role in the Muslim society. Therefore, the study and research on it is not something new and has been made from a various angle and aspects since the early day of Islam. The original reference related to this contract are mostly written in a number of books that specifically deal with aspects of muamalah and Islamic finance. Review and highlight of previous studies conducted by the researcher to find out the extent of research on Ar-Rahnu in addition to discussing the result of previous studies can be related to the problem study, especially to explain the position of this study in the context of previous studies.